Hey y'all, it's Alex with ALX Rods. I'm here today with Shayne McFarlin, and Shayne's fishing the northern Costas this year in Eastern Opens. Doing a lot of fishing up north and up on your northern lakes, and there's a technique that's going to be really important for him, and that's the drop shot. So we wanted to kind of touch base today and talk a little bit about some of the rods that you use and how ALX rods are great with a drop shot.
Right.
So.
My first choice as far as casting a drop shot, I know, us being from the south, you don't hear a lot of people about casting a drop shot, but
Right.
when you get up north with a smallmouth, you can't just fish vertical the whole time. You'll hear a lot of people drifting,
Okay.
the bars and stuff like that. So with the ZOLO, ALX ZOLO Trickster is a 7-foot light. It's actually a light plus, so it's a little more on the heavier side of the light, but it's a 7-foot rod, has a great tip, but you got enough rod that you can still cast the drop shot with your, a lot of people go to your half and your 5/8 weights up there.
Okay.
Because when you're drifting, there's always bad wind.
Okay.
You got to keep in contact. You got to keep the feel with the bottom.
Yep.
And I like the 7-footer for that, just because you're more in touch with your bait.
Okay.
And then my other favorite line is if you're doing the vertical. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say that they prefer a 7-footer when they're fishing vertical because, it's shorter and they feel like, they're trying to keep it right in front of their trolling motor.
Yeah,
or
right underneath the
radio gun and stuff
transducer.
like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times up there, you're trying to literally see the fish.
Okay.
So you're blind casting vertical. I mean, the fish will be 5-6 foot in front of your boat. So it's like sight fishing. And I like the BOKU ALX BOKU slot 76, which is a medium power, and 7'6" length. And the reason for that is when I pitch it to him, I can pitch better with a 7'6" rod, and a lot of times I'll dial down my weight to a 3/8 or something in that area.
Okay.
But when you have that fish, you see him, they're really aggressive when they're that close to the boat, and you can watch him eat it. When you watch him eat it versus feeling it, you just reel. You don't actually hook set versus, like the Trickster, you'll actually have to have a hook set. So
Sure.
even though this is a medium power rod with a 7'6", you have a lot more, limber tip. So you just reel down with the fish, let him basically hook himself, and then you have the 7'6" to have a lot of fighting power.
Okay.
With a smallmouth, you almost can never tire him down. So it takes a long time. You run him around the boat 2 or 3 times, and that 7'6" gives you a lot more rod to play with the fish.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I know one of the things that we try to build into all of these rods is a little bit of line protection factor too,
Right.
because a lot of times you're using in a lot of situations you're using a really lightweight line. Some people are using all the way down to 6-pound fluoro and some things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And for the guys that are doing that, we try to make those tips to where they're really lightweight, because even with a good drag, that fish is still going to pull. And that rod can really act as a shock absorber and try to save your line a little bit.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's one of the big things in the design factor for
It helps
drop
you
shot.
play him a lot. It really does.
Yeah. Well, and I know we talked about that a little bit earlier today, and we were talking about reels, and we were talking about the importance of drag and
Right.
having a good. So what kind of reels are you using right now?
Right now, I've swapped over to the Daiwa Ballistic LT. It is by far one of the most superior drag systems I've found on the market. It sets up well with my ALX rods. You can, like I said, you can't play down a smallmouth. I mean, they never give up. You'll hear them in the box all day. I mean, they beat themselves to death. But they're really aggressive. So you really have to have a rod with a lot of tip, so that you can really play them down and a lot of drag in your reel.
How does a smallmouth compare to a spotted bass from being aggressive?
Let's just say that I could really care less if I ever seen a greenfish again. I'm really spoilt. This will be my 3rd year going up there.
Going for the brownies, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a brownfish will make you hate a greenfish. It really will. So.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things that I wanted to touch on real quick too is that that ZOLO is our flagship line, and the BOKU is right there underneath it. And then we've got another line with the IKOS series that's a little bit more affordable, and the comparable rod in that would most likely be the Shake 7, I would think.
Yes,
So,
100%. It's your Shake and your Trickster are almost the same rod, just at a little better price point for your customer. So I don't think you're going to see any much difference. It just really comes in at a better price point.
Good deal. So it depends on a little bit more feel, I think, in the ZOLO series. compared to the IKOS. Little bit different features on the IKOS from the ZOLO. So just really depends, I think, on where you wanted to be with that. But we know that ZOLO is popular. It's always been our flagship, and it has been for a while now.
It is. I mean, you know, it's what got ALX where it is today.
That's right.
And that's what keeps customers coming back. But the IKOS is definitely not something to overlook.
Absolutely,
it's a great rod for the price range that it's in.
That's absolutely. So, all right, so there's some good information about drop shots. Now, we didn't really talk about baits, so we're going to leave that up to everybody who's watched the show. How about post down in the comments below, what's your favorite drop shot bait, and what size weight are you using when you throw it? So look forward to hearing your comments and how the different ways you fish a drop shot. Thanks for watching.